Have you ever left a conversation wishing you'd kept quiet, feeling like your words only added to the chaos instead of bringing clarity? I know I have, and I've seen this struggle so often in my years of working with folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, when life's noise from endless opinions to heated arguments can feel overwhelming. I've spent decades studying Stoic philosophy, drawing on the wisdom of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, and I can tell you this: silence isn't just a pause, it's a powerful tool, a way to find peace and strength in a world that never stops talking. The Stoics believe that choosing silence in the right moments can protect your inner calm, sharpen your judgment, and earn you quiet respect. And that's especially valuable as we age, when peace becomes more precious than ever. In this video, we'll explore 9 situations where staying silent, as taught by Stoic wisdom, can transform your life, helping you rise above conflict and live with greater clarity. Let's start with the first situation: when you're unfairly criticized. I've been there, facing harsh words that feel so off base. Maybe a friend misjudges your intentions, or a colleague blames you for something you didn't do, and your instinct is to defend yourself, to set the record straight. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you always own the option of having no opinion. Instead of reacting, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, is this criticism really about me? Often, it's not. It's a reflection of the other person's frustrations. And by staying silent, you let their words pass without giving them power over your peace, while also giving yourself space to grow if there's a grain of truth to learn from. The second situation is when someone is boasting, showing off their success in a way that pulls you to compete. I've seen this at gatherings where a friend brags endlessly about their achievements, tempting you to prove your own worth. But Stoicism teaches us that true confidence doesn't need to compete. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. By staying silent, you show your strength, letting their need for attention fade while you remain grounded in your own path. As we continue, let's look at how silence can help you navigate anger and keep your peace. We've been exploring how silence can be a powerful tool when facing unfair criticism or boasting, helping you stay grounded in your own strength. But let's move forward to the third situation where staying quiet can truly transform your peace: when you're angry. I've worked with so many folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. And I've seen how anger can flare up like a sudden storm, especially in moments of frustration. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or a family member says something thoughtless, and your instinct is to lash out, to let the heat of the moment take over. But the Stoics, like Seneca, taught us that anger only has power if we give it control, and the consequences of reacting in fury often outweigh the cause, leaving behind regret that lingers far longer than the moment itself. Instead, choose silence. Take a deep breath and let the storm pass, because in that pause, you're choosing clarity over chaos, giving yourself space to respond with intention, not impulse, a skill that brings peace and keeps your relationships strong. Now let's turn to the fourth situation, when you're facing false rumors. I've seen how rumors can spread like wildfire, especially in tight-knit communities. Maybe a colleague whispers that you're to blame for a mistake you didn't make, or a friend misrepresents your words, turning a simple misunderstanding into a story that paints you unfairly. Your first urge might be to confront the rumor, to defend yourself, to set things straight, but Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. By staying silent, you let the rumor fade, because engaging often fuels the fire, giving it more life than it deserves. Seneca said, "Time discovers truth," and I've found that to be true. When you focus on living with integrity, the truth eventually rises, and your silence becomes a statement of dignity, showing others that you don't need to fight falsehoods to prove your worth. You just need to keep walking your path with grace. As we continue, let's look at how silence can help you face loss and ignorance with the same Stoic strength. We've been learning how silence can help us navigate anger and false rumors with grace, keeping our peace intact. But let's move to the fifth situation, where staying quiet holds deep wisdom when you're facing loss. I've worked with so many folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, and I've seen how loss, whether it's losing a loved one, a cherished dream, or a part of your past, can leave you feeling hollow, like the world keeps moving while you're standing still. Your instinct might be to fill that emptiness with noise, distractions, or even denial. But the Stoics, like Seneca, taught us to embrace silence in these moments, to let it be a space for healing. Seneca once said, "The day we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity," a reminder that loss isn't the end, but a transition. And in that quiet space, you can honor what you've lost by reflecting on what it meant to you, allowing the pain to carve depth into your soul, so you can grow stronger, carrying those memories forward as a source of love, not sorrow. Now, let's turn to the sixth situation. When you're dealing with ignorance, I've seen this often. Maybe a colleague confidently shares wrong information, or a neighbor insists on an opinion that's clearly misguided, and your urge might be to argue, to correct them, to prove your point. But Stoicism offers a wiser path. Epictetus taught us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, meaning you don't need to correct everyone, especially those unwilling to listen. Instead, stay silent, or ask a gentle question like, what makes you so sure, to invite reflection without confrontation. I've found that arguing with ignorance often drains your energy, while silence preserves your peace, letting their words fade without pulling you into a battle that doesn't serve you. By choosing silence, you stay grounded in your own wisdom, showing a quiet strength that speaks louder than any debate. As we continue, let's explore how silence can guide us through injustice and the sting of insults. We've been discovering how silence can guide us through loss and ignorance, helping us find peace and preserve our energy. But let's move forward to the seventh situation, where staying quiet can be a source of strength when you're facing injustice. I've worked with many folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, and I've seen how unfairness can strike hard. Maybe a coworker takes credit for your hard work, or a family member overlooks your efforts, leaving you feeling unseen. Your instinct might be to fight back, to demand the fairness you deserve. But the Stoics, like Seneca, taught us a wiser approach. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Silence in the face of injustice isn't about accepting mistreatment. It's about choosing a response that honors your character, not your anger. By staying quiet, you give yourself space to act with clarity, letting your actions, like continuing to do your best work, speak louder than any outburst, because over time your integrity will shine through, proving your worth without a word. Now let's turn to the eighth situation. When you're insulted. I've seen how a harsh comment can sting. Maybe someone at a gathering makes a snide remark about your choices, or a neighbor throws a passive-aggressive jab, and your first urge might be to fire back to defend your honor. But Epictetus reminds us, if someone provokes you, it's because your mind is complicit in the provocation. Silence here isn't weakness. It's power. It's choosing not to let their words take your peace. I've found that reacting to insults often pulls you into a cycle of negativity, replaying the hurt over and over, but when you stay silent, you deny the insult its power, letting it pass like a breeze while you remain steady, unshaken. Imagine a community leader I once knew, constantly criticized for her decisions, yet she never lashed out. She focused on her mission, and over time, her calm strength earned her more respect than any argument ever could. By choosing silence, you show a quiet confidence, a self-respect that speaks louder than words, proving that your worth doesn't need defending. As we continue, let's explore how silence can help us navigate the urge to correct others' misunderstandings. We've been exploring how silence can be a powerful response to injustice and insults, helping us maintain our dignity and inner peace. But let's dive deeper into this eighth situation by looking at how to make silence your strength when faced with hurtful words. I've spent years guiding folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond through life's challenges, and I've seen how an insult can cut deep. Maybe a friend makes a sarcastic comment about your lifestyle, or a coworker throws a jab at your work ethic, and it stings, tempting you to snap back. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events, meaning you don't have to let their words define your peace. Silence in these moments isn't about surrender, it's about self-mastery. It shows you're secure in who you are, and you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. I've found that arguing often escalates the hurt, pulling you into a spiral of negativity, but when you stay quiet, you let the insult fade, showing a quiet strength that earns respect over time. A strength that says, I know my value and I won't let your words shake me. Now let's move to the ninth situation. When you're faced with misunderstandings or false assumptions. I've seen this happen often. Maybe someone at a community event misquotes you, or a family member assumes the worst about your intentions, twisting your words into something you never meant, and your instinct might be to jump in, to correct them, to explain yourself. But Stoicism teaches us to pause, to consider if the battle is worth fighting. As Epictetus said, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Silence here can be a powerful choice. It gives you space to reflect, to decide if addressing the misunderstanding will bring clarity or just more conflict. I've found that when someone is committed to misunderstanding you, no amount of explaining will change their mind. So instead, stay quiet. Let your actions over time show the truth, because living with integrity speaks louder than any defense, and those who truly know you won't be swayed by others' assumptions. As we continue, let's look at how these lessons come together to help you live with greater wisdom. We've been learning how silence can help us rise above misunderstandings, letting our actions speak louder than words. But let's take this ninth situation further by exploring how to handle these moments with even greater wisdom, especially as you navigate life in your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years working with folks in this age group, and I've seen how misunderstandings can create tension. Maybe a friend assumes you're upset with them when you're just having a quiet day, or a colleague misinterprets your suggestion as criticism, and it can feel frustrating, tempting you to over-explain or argue. But Seneca reminds us it is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence, meaning sometimes silence is the wisest response. It gives you space to reflect on whether the misunderstanding is worth addressing, or if it's better to let time and your consistent character clear things up. I've found that when someone isn't ready to hear you, no amount of explaining will help. So instead, stay quiet, keep showing up as your best self, and let the truth unfold naturally, because those who truly know you will see through the confusion, and those who don't might not be worth convincing. Now, let's move to the 10th step, bringing these Stoic lessons together to live with greater peace and strength. I've seen how powerful these teachings can be, drawing from Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers to help us face life's challenges without losing our calm. We've explored 9 situations where silence can be your greatest ally, from unfair criticism to boasting, anger, rumors, loss, ignorance, injustice, insults, and misunderstandings. And each one teaches us to control what we can, our reactions, our peace, our values, while letting go of what we can't, like others' opinions or actions. The Stoics believed that true strength lies in this balance, in choosing silence not as a retreat, but as a stand, a way to rise above chaos and live with integrity. So, try applying this wisdom today. Maybe the next time someone's words stir your emotions, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what would my best self do? By choosing silence in these moments, you're not just protecting your peace, you're building a life of quiet power and resilience. As we wrap up, let's reflect on how these lessons can guide us daily. We've been bringing together the Stoic lessons of silence, learning how they can help us rise above life's challenges with wisdom. But let's take this 10th step further by exploring how to make these lessons a lasting part of your life, especially as you navigate your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years helping folks in this age group find peace through Stoic philosophy, and I've seen how powerful it can be to weave silence into your daily routine. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You always own the option of having no opinion," a reminder that you don't need to react to every situation. You can choose silence to protect your calm, whether it's ignoring a petty argument or letting a misunderstanding fade. I've found that practicing this daily, maybe by pausing before responding to a heated email or taking a deep breath when someone's words stir you, helps you build a habit of self-control, a habit that keeps your peace steady no matter what comes your way, allowing you to live with a quiet strength that others will notice and respect. Now let's move to the 11th step, living with lasting peace by embracing these Stoic teachings fully. I've seen how betrayal, criticism, or loss can shake us, but Stoicism offers a path to enduring calm, one that's especially valuable as we age, when we crave stability more than ever. Epictetus taught us, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. So focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, your values, and let go of what you can't, like others' opinions or actions. I've found that starting each day with a Stoic reflection, maybe asking yourself, what can I let go of today to find peace, can help you release the need to control everything, whether it's worrying about a rumor or feeling hurt by an insult, because true peace comes from within, from knowing you've chosen to rise above the noise. By living this way, you create a life where silence isn't just a reaction, it's a way of being, a source of strength that lets you face any challenge with grace, knowing your peace is unshakable. As we continue, let's look at how to carry this wisdom forward in every interaction. We've been exploring how to live with lasting peace by embracing Stoic teachings, focusing on what we can control to maintain our calm. But let's take this 12th step further by looking at how to make this peace a cornerstone of your life, especially in your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years guiding folks in this age group, and I've seen how transformative it can be to let Stoic wisdom shape your daily choices. Marcus Aurelius taught us the best revenge is to be unlike him who did the injury, meaning you can rise above negativity by choosing peace over conflict, and silence is a powerful way to do that. I found that starting your day with a Stoic practice, like reflecting on what truly matters to you, maybe your family, your health, or your passions, helps you let go of petty worries, like what others think or say. Because when you focus on your values, you build a peace that's unshakable, a peace that lets you face any challenge with a steady heart, knowing you're living true to yourself. Now let's move to the 13th step, finding strength in silence. A final lesson that ties all these moments together. I've seen how silence can be more than a tool. It can be a source of power, a way to stand tall in a noisy world. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, meaning you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Your strength comes from within, from choosing when to speak and when to stay quiet. I've found that when you embrace silence in these 9 situations, whether it's ignoring unfair criticism, staying calm amidst anger, or letting rumors fade, you're not just protecting your peace, you're building a quiet confidence that others can't shake, a confidence that says, I know who I am, and I don't need to shout to prove it. So try this today. The next time life tests you, pause, breathe, and let silence be your guide. Because in that stillness, you'll find a strength that carries you through, a strength that lets you live with dignity, no matter what comes your way. As we wrap up, let's reflect on how these lessons can guide us toward a life of true wisdom. We've been discovering how silence can be a source of strength, helping you stand tall in a noisy world. But let's take this 13th step further by exploring how to make this strength a lasting part of your life, especially as you navigate your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years working with folks in this age group, and I've seen how powerful it can be to fully embrace Stoic silence as a way of being, not just a reaction. Marcus Aurelius taught us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. A reminder that your strength lies in choosing when to engage and when to stay quiet, a choice that grows stronger with practice. I've found that starting each day with a Stoic intention, maybe reflecting on a question like, where can I choose silence today to protect my peace? Helps you build this habit, whether it's ignoring a petty jab from a neighbor or staying calm during a heated family discussion. Because over time, this practice of silence becomes your shield, a quiet power that lets you face any challenge with grace, knowing you're in control of your inner world, not the chaos around you. Now let's move to the 14th step, applying these Stoic lessons of silence to live a life of wisdom and resilience long term. I've seen how these teachings, from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, can transform the way we interact with the world, helping us find peace in a way that lasts. We've explored 9 situations where silence can be your greatest ally, from unfair criticism to anger, rumors, loss, ignorance, injustice, insults, misunderstandings, and beyond. And each one teaches us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, our peace, our integrity, while letting go of what we can't, like others' judgments or actions. By embracing silence in these moments, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're building a life where you're unshaken by the noise, where your strength comes from within, from knowing you've chosen to live with dignity, no matter what others do or say. So make silence a daily practice, maybe by pausing before you speak in a tense moment, or by choosing to let a small slight pass. Because in those choices, you'll find a resilience that carries you forward with quiet, unwavering power. As we continue, let's reflect on how to carry this wisdom into every day. We've been reflecting on how to apply Stoic lessons of silence to live a life of wisdom and resilience. But let's take this 14th step further by exploring how to carry this wisdom into every interaction, especially as you navigate your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years helping folks in this age group find peace through Stoic philosophy, and I've seen how transformative it can be to make silence a daily practice, not just a response to challenges. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. A call to focus on living your values, not proving them, and silence helps you do that. I've found that reflecting each morning on where you can choose silence, maybe by deciding to let a small disagreement pass or to listen more than you speak in a conversation, builds a habit of calm strength, a habit that lets you interact with others from a place of clarity, not reaction, ensuring your relationships are grounded in respect and understanding, not conflict or noise. Now, let's move to the 15th step, living with confidence and meaning by fully embracing these Stoic lessons of silence. I've seen how these teachings can empower you to live with purpose, especially in your later years, when finding meaning becomes so important. Epictetus taught us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, meaning true confidence comes from within, not from others' approval. And silence in these 9 situations, from criticism to misunderstandings, helps you build that inner strength, showing you don't need to shout to be heard. Your presence alone speaks volumes. I've found that when you consistently choose silence in these moments, You create a life where you're unshaken by others' judgments, where you can focus on what truly matters, maybe deepening your relationships, pursuing a passion, or simply finding joy in the small moments, because silence frees you from the need to react, letting you live with a quiet confidence that's rooted in self-respect. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you're not just surviving life's challenges, you're thriving, living with a sense of meaning that comes from knowing you've chosen peace over chaos, strength over noise. As we continue, let's look at how to make this a lifelong journey of growth. We've been exploring how to live with confidence and meaning by embracing Stoic lessons of silence, focusing on what truly matters to you. But let's take this 15th step further by looking at how to deepen that confidence as you move through life in your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years helping folks in this age group find their inner strength, and I've seen how powerful it can be to let Stoic wisdom guide your choices. Marcus Aurelius taught us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. A reminder that true confidence doesn't come from others' approval, but from knowing you've chosen to live with integrity, and silence helps you do that. I've found that practicing silence in these 9 situations, whether it's staying calm during criticism or letting misunderstandings fade, builds a self-assurance that's unshaken by the noise around you. A confidence that lets you focus on what brings you joy, maybe spending time with loved ones or rediscovering a hobby. Because when you're not caught up in reacting, you're free to live with purpose, rooted in your own values, not others' expectations. Now, let's move to the 16th step, living with serenity by making silence a lifelong companion. I've seen how these Stoic teachings can bring a lasting sense of calm, especially as we age, when we long for a life free from unnecessary drama. Seneca reminds us it is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence, meaning that choosing silence in the right moments can be a path to inner tranquility. I've found that reflecting each evening on where silence served you that day, maybe when you chose not to engage in a pointless argument or let an insult pass, helps you see its value, reinforcing your commitment to this practice, because serenity comes from knowing you've protected your peace, from living in alignment with your deepest principles, not the chaos of the world. By making silence a daily choice, you create a life where you're not just reacting to life's challenges, but rising above them, with a calm that radiates from within, a calm that lets you live with a sense of ease and joy, no matter what comes your way. As we continue, let's reflect on how to carry this serenity into every moment. We've been exploring how to live with serenity by making silence a lifelong companion, a practice that brings lasting calm. But let's take this 16th step further by looking at how to weave this serenity into every moment, especially as you navigate your 50s, 60s, and beyond. I've spent years guiding folks in this age group, and I've seen how Stoic wisdom can transform daily life, particularly through the power of silence. Seneca taught us, the day we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity. A reminder that even in life's toughest moments, silence can be a space for reflection, helping you find peace that endures. I've found that ending each day with a quiet moment, maybe sitting with a cup of tea and reflecting on where you chose silence, whether it was during a tense conversation or when faced with someone's harsh words, helps you appreciate its impact, reinforcing your commitment to this practice. Because serenity isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about creating a life where you're at peace with yourself, where you can face any challenge with a calm heart, knowing you've chosen to rise above the noise with grace. Now let's move to the 17th step, finding deeper meaning through the practice of silence, a final reflection on how this Stoic tool can enrich your life. I've seen how silence, when used wisely, does more than protect your peace. It helps you connect with what truly matters, something so important as we age. Epictetus reminds us it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them, meaning silence gives you the space to step back, to see life's challenges with clarity, and to focus on what brings you purpose. Maybe it's the joy of spending time with family, the fulfillment of learning something new, or the simple beauty of a quiet morning. I've found that when you choose silence in these 9 situations, from criticism to misunderstandings, you're not just avoiding drama, you're creating room to reflect on your values, to live with intention, and to find a deeper sense of meaning that comes from knowing you've chosen a path of wisdom, a path that lets you live fully with a heart that's at peace, no matter what the world throws your way. As we wrap up, let's bring all these lessons together for a life of true Stoic strength. We've been reflecting on how silence helps us find deeper meaning, guiding us to live with intention. And now let's bring this journey to a close by embracing the lifelong impact of these Stoic lessons. I've spent years helping folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond find peace through Stoic wisdom. And I've seen how Marcus Aurelius' teachings on silence can transform your life. We've explored 9 situations where silence becomes your strength, from facing criticism to handling anger, rumors, loss, ignorance, injustice, insults, misunderstandings, and more, each teaching us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, our peace, our values, while letting go of what we can't, like others' words or actions. By choosing silence, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're creating a life of serenity, confidence, and meaning where you live true to yourself, unshaken by the noise around you. So, what's one moment today where you can choose silence to find peace? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how this resonates with you. If this video inspired you, please give it a like and subscribe to Ageless Philosophies for more wisdom to live your best life. Here's to a life where silence becomes your strength, where you rise above challenges with grace, and where you find a deeper joy in living with purpose every single day.